Emily's flight to Seattle felt like the longest journey of her life. She spent the entire trip staring at the tiny silver key resting in her palm, replaying every memory of Michael she'd spent years trying to bury. Her heart wouldn't stop racing. She didn't know if he was safe. She didn't know if she was too late. All she knew was that she had to find him. When she finally stepped outside the airport, Seattle greeted her with cold rain, the same kind of rain falling the night she left him standing alone on the sidewalk. It felt like the city itself remembered everything. The taxi stopped in front of a quiet little house with white shutters and a porch light glowing softly through the drizzle. The address from the letter, Michael's house. Emily hesitated at the door, gripping the key so tightly her fingers ached. If he was here, if he was alive, this tiny piece of metal was the first step back to him. The key fit perfectly. As the door creaked open, warm air wrapped around her like a fragile embrace. She stepped inside and froze. The house was lived in. A jacket hung by the door. A pair of boots sat on the mat. A mug of tea, still faintly warm, waited on the kitchen counter. Emily's breath caught in her throat. "Michael?" she whispered. No answer. Her shoes brushed against a folded piece of paper lying on the dining table. Her name was written on the front, his handwriting, unmistakable, familiar enough to break her heart all over again. With trembling fingers, she opened it. "Emily, if you're here, I'm close. Come find me." Inside the envelope was a small hand-drawn map, a park, a pond, a place she knew instantly, the spot where they had their first date, their first kiss, their last happy memory. Emily didn't think, she ran. The rain soaked through her coat as she hurried down the path toward the park. The closer she got, the heavier her steps felt, like the world was holding its breath with her. The pond lay quiet, reflecting the glow of dim street lamps. Fog drifted low over the water, and then she saw him. Michael stood alone near the edge, his back to her, shoulders slightly hunched, as if carrying a weight too heavy to name. His hair was longer now, blowing in the damp wind, and he looked thinner, fragile in a way she had never seen. For a moment she couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. She'd imagined this moment 1,000 times, but now that he was here, she was terrified. Terrified that he'd turn around and she'd see resentment, hurt, anger, everything she'd run from all those years ago. But she finally forced the word out. "Michael." He didn't move at first. The sound of his name in her voice seemed to hang in the air. Finally, slowly, he turned. Emily gasped. His face was the same, familiar, gentle, but changed. There was a tiredness in his eyes, a heaviness that wasn't there 3 years ago. But when he saw her, something inside him softened, a flicker of warmth, a spark of the boy she once loved with every part of her. "I thought," he said quietly, "you wouldn't come." Emily stepped toward him, tears already burning her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered, "for everything, for leaving, for disappearing, for not telling you the truth." The rain blurred her vision, or maybe it was the memories, the guilt she'd carried like a chain around her chest. "I never stopped caring. I was scared. I thought I was losing my dad. I didn't know how to handle anything. And then it felt too late to explain, too late to fix." Michael let out a shaky breath. "It wasn't too late for me. Not then." Emily looked at him fully for the first time, noticing the faint tremor in his hands, the way he leaned slightly to one side, as if bracing himself. "Michael, what's happening? Are you really sick?" He gave a small, sad smile. "I didn't want you to find out this way, or at all, to be honest." The wind rustled through the trees, filling the silence between them. "I'm sick," he said softly, "more than I wanted to admit. And I didn't want you coming back out of guilt or fear. I didn't want your love only because time was running out." Emily felt her chest tighten. "You're not a burden," she said, voice breaking. Not then, not now, not ever. She reached for his hands. They were cold, too cold. He looked at her like he was memorizing the moment. There's something else, he whispered. Something I didn't put in the letter. Something I couldn't. Emily's heart dropped. What is it? Michael swallowed hard. My condition. It's genetic. It runs in families. And if we ever... He hesitated, pain flickering through his eyes. If we ever had a future together, it wouldn't just be my battle. It could become someone else's, too. Emily froze. Not just sickness, a legacy of it, one that could shape the rest of their lives. The rain quieted to a soft mist. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Emily stepped closer, gently lifting his face to hers. Michael, she said softly, I didn't come here because I thought it would be easy. I came because walking away from you was the biggest mistake of my life. I don't care about the risks. I don't care about the fear. I care about you. Her voice cracked. I choose you. However long we have, whatever it looks like, I want to be with you. Michael closed his eyes, a tear slipping down his cheek. He hadn't cried in front of her since the night she left. When he opened them again, there was something new. Hope, thin but real, fighting its way through the darkness. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as tightly as his frail strength allowed. Emily could feel his heartbeat, unsteady, fragile, but still there, still alive. I've missed you every single day, he whispered into her hair. I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. For the first time in years, the world didn't feel cold or broken. It felt possible. It felt like a beginning. But as they stood together in the fading rain, neither of them noticed the small folded piece of paper peeking out of Michael's jacket pocket. Another letter, one he hadn't given her yet, one that just might change everything.